Hi, Susan.
Morning. Socks on.
What?
Putting my socks on.
Oh, well, that's a good thing.
Oh, God.
What?
Kay just drove up.
Who did?
Kay. She must think there's Dragon and Tiger.
I can't imagine why. She never.
Well, she's coming in.
I'll have to go talk to her. Susan, I've got to go talk to someone. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I do not remember that at all. But hi, Rosemary.
Oh, good. Hello, Rosemary.
we get a picture of you too? I mean, get you live too, Rosemary? We got a picture of her, but
She's muted too.
Oh, I've been trying to talk to you and I didn't realize. I was muted. I'm lying in bed because of my neck.
oh dear.
I can't be up for the class and I haven't been able to watch classes 5 or 6 yet. I tried watching 4 yesterday and my neck said, ha, ha, ha. And so I listened to it, but my neck is not quite ready to be doing the standing and so forth. So I've been trying. I tried listening to 4 lying down, and I was able to get a little bit of energy movement.
Uh-huh.
But I know it would be better if I had gravity helping me, but gravity doesn't. And my neck are not getting along right now.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's too
Yeah.
bad.
The pinched nerve is being a real difficulty.
Huh.
So
No one's been able to help you with that?
the chiropractor has got me down from a level 9 pain to about a level 6 pain. That's
Well,
a problem.
that's an improvement.
Yes, so we're working on it. I see him 3 times this week, so
Ah,
hopefully it will help.
yeah, I hope so indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, do you want to listen to class?
I'd like to. I enjoy listening to you, and I get something out of, even like I said, I listened to class 4 yesterday just lying down, and I got something out of it. So, but I don't know. I've missed 5 and 6. So if I wouldn't understand this, maybe it's better that I.
Oh, I think you'll understand it. This is really just continuing on. We're still working in roughly the same area with standing, so.
Okay.
And Rosemary, I have to confess that I just can't do it during the week either. So it's just, I like being here. And my body can remember some things.
Well,
Okay,
that's good.
well, I feel better that somebody else isn't, everybody else isn't doing daily practice for an
Oh,
hour.
gosh. No, it's far too complicated around here at the moment.
And Andrew has eaten something that has really upset his
Oh, dear.
system, and he's not feeling well at all and said he would not be present today. So
I guess you
Aren't
got
we a
the-
mess?
I'm in good shape.
You're in good shape, but
That's good.
Okay, Susan.
whew,
So, well, good. Well, we'll continue just the way we are.
Okay. Just so you know, I don't know if Susan can hear anything, but other than the 3 dings, I don't hear the
no,
echoing of the chime.
No, it just doesn't seem to carry on Zoom. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I love the memory of it, but
Well, hold on to the memory, because
Yeah.
until you come for class again, that's
okay.
the best you can do. So do either one of you have questions?
ah. No, just, I'm not your best student these days.
Well, you're not my worst either.
I like being here, as Rosemary does.
Okay. So we're going to continue working on syncing our chi. And first I'm going to give you a practice, which obviously, Rosemary, you won't be doing right at the moment, but you could work on it later on if you like. So we're trying to connect the crown of your head and your perineum and your feet so that you get that flow of the chi to drop down through your legs. And in this practice, we're going to do a very gentle bending and straightening, not bending forward, but simply sinking and straightening. And let me just, I think I can, so I'm not going to bother to change the camera at the moment, but in this practice, all you're going to do is just allow yourself to sink slightly and to rise slightly. And so it's very small, very subtle. And that's all the movement I'm talking about as we go into this practice. You want to stay straight and not bend forward. It's always easier to bend forward when you sink down because that releases pressure, but you actually want to keep the pressure because you want to get the chi to move down to your feet. So, Susan, I guess you're the only one that's going to stand at the moment.
Gotta stand. You can almost see my legs. I've rearranged things.
That's all right. So you want to just take a moment and let yourself land. Feel the earth underneath your feet. Be aware of your alignments. And breathing down to your belly. Trying to get your mind into your body. And so as you begin to very gently sink and rise, you're allowing your chi to go down and up. So keeping your back straight. If you collapse, you make it easier on your body to pull off the movement. But that's the difference between Qigong and normal athletics. So now when you come up, notice if you start to get a bit of resistance in your perineum and adjust your structure so it's continuing cleanly up your spine. And as you go down again, notice that it's a little bit easier getting the flow from your pelvis down through your legs.
And this is the one, like last week, where our knees don't move much. They don't move
Right.
forward.
That's correct. Your knees don't go forward. So focus on the flow from the crown of your head all the way down to the soles of your feet. You're not focusing on the act of sinking. You want to focus on the movement of the chi. And as you come up, make sure that the chi comes up all the way to the crown of your head. If you keep on doing this practice over weeks and months, you'll be able to go lower and lower. But the main point won't be that you can go lower. The main point is that your chi goes from your head down to your feet. It really goes there. You're just finding your bounce point. Because before you try and actually do the squat, it's very important that you get a sense of the crown of your head and your perineum connecting to the bottom of your feet. You have to find your natural bounce space. Because if you don't know what no pressure is, then later on you'll put pressure on yourself. You won't really get that there's a difference. And you can pause and relax.
Breathe with it, breathe in and out, like.
Yeah, if your breath naturally aligns with the movement, that's fine, but it's not a requirement of that practice. What is important as far as the breath is concerned is that you don't hold your breath or pause your breath, that you keep it going.
Right.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, indeed. You can sit down for a minute, Susan. So that's really, it's interesting. That's a practice which works very well for some people and not so, doesn't do much for some others, but it can be very helpful in beginning to feel the sinking and rising of the energy through the body. That's obviously not just a standing practice, but a moving practice that is sort of preparatory to doing standing. So, the first thing we're going to go into now is the mechanics of standing, and we're going to start from just standing and then sinking your chi to your knees, and then we'll go down to the feet. Later on in the course, we'll start looking at a lot more of the specific about the knees. Now, usually people stand for several months when learning energy gates before they do any movement whatsoever. Because if you wait and you practice, you put the time into actually getting your chi to where it sinks in a clean line down to your feet. Then you are ready to start moving. Let me put it this way. Let's say you do Tai Chi. If you take a 10-year timeline, if you were to spend the first year getting sinking together before you ever did any of the movements of Tai Chi, at the end of 10 years, you probably would be 4 or 5 times more advanced than if you had just started moving from the beginning. Because the purpose of doing all these movements is to get your chi to flow up and down your body. If you're just moving, you're actually very slowly developing the flow. If you actually got the flow reasonably clear to begin with, then what Tai Chi can do starts happening. Otherwise, basically what you are doing is just the movements, and it's great in terms of physical coordination, and it does a lot in terms of balance and all sorts of other really great stuff inside your body. But in terms of chi, that is actually slowing the game up. No matter how much you want to, you can't put that truck that way you can't put a truck that weighs 50 tons on a road that's only made to handle 20 tons. The truck will just go through the road. So this was a classic way of teaching it. The Yang and Wu style Tai Chi people did the exact same thing. They would teach people the form movements for a while, and then they would start teaching them how to hold postures and stand. And this would go on for a couple of years. And when they reached a certain point of holding those postures, then they'd go back and effectively their form would become the standing postures linked together in a fluid manner. But there has to be something that causes you to directly connect the chi in your body. And standing is one of the most powerful things that can do that. When you're standing still, if you actually pay attention to what you're doing, your mind hasn't any place it can get distracted. Every time you do get distracted, you space out. The sheer discomfort because you weren't paying attention to get your chi moving through your body will wake you up. Pain is wonderful for waking people up. But the purpose of standing is not to cause people pain. The purpose of standing is to make it complete, make the flow of the chi completely unambiguous. This was considered to be one of the fastest ways if people really wanted to feel and sync their chi. Bruce told us a story when he was studying Tai Chi in Japan. He asked his teacher to really teach him. He really wanted to learn about chi. And his teacher told him to do energy gates. So in the beginning, he was practicing 15 to 20 minutes a day. And his teacher said, do it the same way you would learn and practice and train karate. Do it the same way we do it if you want to become really good. And so he started doing it 6 hours a day. Most of us don't have the time or energy to do, but he is a little crazy that way. At the end of about 2.5 years, he passed everybody in the school who'd been studying with the teacher for over 20 years. So there's a very old phrase, a quote from Talleyrand, who one time during the Reign of Terror in France had to get to a meeting. Now, during that time, if you were late to a meeting, you were very likely to have your head cut off with the guillotine. So he's riding down the road, and his coachman, knowing they're late, is whipping the horses to go faster and faster. And Talleyrand pulls his pistol out so the driver will take him seriously and says, "Slow down, I'm in a hurry." Because he knew what would happen if they threw a wheel or something happened to the horses. So slow down, because if you get the chi running down through your system, all these arts in China, Qigong, Tai Chi, meditation, all of them are actually focused on having a concrete sense of your chi. And I'll tell you something, movement doesn't cut it or every dancer, every good dancer would be a chi master. And as we know, that's not the case. So we have standing. You have to start from being on the ground. Otherwise, all you're going to basically be doing is adding instability to instability. From this experience of standing, you're going to start getting the feeling that when you're trying to go through your thighs and your knee, it's probably not going to be so easy. But I want you to have it very fresh in your mind at a very, very practical level. What you're trying to do to get your chi through your legs. We're taking it out of abstraction and hopefully bring it right down to the ground, what you need to do to be successful. So now I'm going to talk you through a rather long standing practice, and what I would suggest, Susan and Rosemary, when you can do this, is that you have a chair that you could sit down if you need to. Because if your standing goes to the point where you are feeling pain, then your mind is not going to remain focused on what you're doing with the chi. And so better to continue the practice seated than to not get anywhere with it standing.
Okay.
So
Stand up.
yeah, stand up.
Here or here.
So when you start any standing practice, for the first 30 seconds or a minute, make sure that you just begin to breathe with your belly and feel your body.
Your weights over the middle of your foot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just be where you are. Whatever happened before, whatever ideas you're supposed to deal with, whatever work stuff or home stuff, right now you're doing something that is going to enable you to do all that other stuff better. But to do it, you have to commit to using this time for what you're doing right now. Breathe into your belly, and then have the sense of letting your nerves go. Letting your muscles relax. As much as you can, just try and be present inside your body. It's very easy to be present inside a picture. Everyone who's watched television and gone to the movie has learned how to do that. To be present inside your own body is a slightly different skill. Now, usually in the beginning, it is best if you keep your eyes closed, because then you won't be distracted into the outside. Eventually, once you're able to be completely present inside your body with no difficulty, standing Qigong is only done with the eyes open. But that is presuming you can be 100% to the inside of you, present to the inside of your body with your eyes open. And most people can't do that for quite a while. It is the result of living in a very externally oriented culture. Now, starting from the top of your head, Just release any strength or tension. Or something that doesn't feel quite right, especially if you don't know what it is. Or any type of contraction. Most importantly, inside the tissues of your body, the muscles, blood vessels, anything you can feel. But also, if it's emotional or it's a thought, you can have tension, strength, essentially something that doesn't feel quite right. Understanding you don't have to understand it. You just have to recognize its existence. And any type of contraction. Wherever you feel one of these four conditions, you have an energetic blockage. And that's how your blockage will show up. You don't need to know what it is, but you do need to recognize it. And then you just relax as best you can and let the energy in that blockage simply let go and start to drop down your body. So dropping down from the crown of your head to your forehead, your eyes, your jaw, your neck, equally in the front, side, and back of your body. Your shoulders. Your chest and upper arms. Diaphragm and elbows. Your entire pelvis. Let the pelvis release and not be holding. All the way down to your fingertips. Ice to water. Let your chi just sink. Let it just drop down. When you're somewhere around your hips for the moment, make sure your tailbone is slightly tucked. And really have the sense of the crown of your head and your perineum being one thing. Coming together, one line. They're joined. As when you put two hands together, each hand would be joined with the other. And often when you're doing standing practice, your body will want to move or even squirm. And if you can, don't. Because that's not actually releasing the blockage. It's actually increasing it. By staying still, you want to initially release the chi, because that will cause a resolution. And just moving around, although it may make you feel better, won't change much of anything. Now just release your psoas muscle, your qua, a little bit until you can feel its pressure going down to your knees and down to your feet. And as you move your chi down, make sure you're not getting pressure in your knees. And now start releasing. Everything is flowing down to your belly, down to your dantian. Release your pelvis, ice to water. And now the thighs. Keep the crown of your head up. Don't let your pelvis physically drop down. Get the energy inside your body to drop down. Later on in all the movements, there are methods where you do let your pelvis drop down, but right now you don't need it. And as a matter of fact, it not only will not help, it will actually set you back. You want to get this sense of your chi completely unified down to your feet before you start going lower. Let your chi drop. Let your chi sink. Let it start going through your knees. Recognize what you feel around your knees. You can have many blocked energy points. You could have anatomical problems. It could be all sorts of stuff around your knees. See if your sinking of your chi can drop through your body, your whole torso and spine, through your pelvis, and drop down to the bottom of your knees. that your chi is starting to move down through your knees. Let it go to about the middle of your calf, the middle of your shin. Adjusting the position of your quad where your psoas muscle is. Just going a little bit forward or a little bit back. So that the crown of your head has a sense of being directly in contact with your perineum. And your whole pelvis, a sense of being in direct contact with your feet, pressing into the ground. Later, you will release your chi into it. Ice to water. Let the strength go. Let any tension go. Let whatever is not feeling quite right go. Just let it go. Let it soften. And let any contraction go. Become softer and more relaxed. Now focus on just getting that line from your head going down to your feet a little bit clearer.
David, the energy moves nicely down about to here, and then my thighs and calves are just really contracted. My knees feel all right, but how I can't relax those.
So I think you need to relax your quad, your psoas muscles, so that you actually allow yourself to sink a little bit.
Does that include knees bending a bit more?
They will bend slightly, yes.
But that seems to put the more pressure on what's holding me up.
Okay.
And so when it gets so that it hurts, I can't. I've stopped the whole process.
Yeah. So I think then that it's just that you're holding in that area, and you have to work on letting yourself relax there.
relaxing it is. It's just a real challenge these days.
Well, I understand that. Which may be one of the benefits of this practice.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it's good that you are getting the chi to move down through your torso, down through the hips. The legs are always the last area in the body that we're able to release.
Does it have a bearing on having old legs that are just tired?
It can be certainly a contributing factor. So you just have to do it and not overdo it.
Which I never know when I've overdone it until I've already overdone it.
Well, that's how you discover where that is.
Yeah,
And when you reach that point, then you sit down. And if you want to continue practicing seated, that's fine, or else take a break and then go back to practicing when you feel you've relaxed.
I'll try it sitting. Yeah, it seems to me that there's no reason why it couldn't keep moving down when you're sitting.
There, you know, there is no reason why it can't. It certainly can. It just doesn't flow quite as easily, simply because of the bends in the body. When
Yeah.
you're standing straight, it just makes a straighter and clearer
Yeah.
track. So it's really really a matter of staying aware of
The chi is moving because I'm getting really hot.
good. So and you say you're not getting any pressure in your knees, which is really good.
Yeah.
So you're getting that
Thighs and
alignment.
calves mostly, and my feet are just get tired.
Yeah.
There's no
Well,
padding on them anymore.
you know, that we do have to, when we age, we have to take that into account. I can't remember who I was talking to the other day, but I said to them, you know, I can practice for half an hour or so, and then I need to take a rest now. I used to practice 2 hours without a break. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So we all have to make some adjustments to not overdo and yet allow us to do as good a practice as we can do. You know, one of the things that I always mention is that Master Joe used to say that 5 minutes of really focused practice was more effective than an hour or two of mindless flowing through forms.
Yeah.
That may be a little bit of an exaggeration, but it is absolutely true that it certainly more practice is good, but the quality of practice of what you do is more important. So there's that thought. do either of you have other other questions or reactions to doing this?
I have sort of unrelated questions. I was checking my documentation and I found out that I had handouts 1, 2, and 4, and I think the rest, but I didn't have a handout number 3. Was there a handout number 3?
Is it class notes 3 or a handout 3?
Handout 3, HO3. I don't have an HO3.
Uh,
If there wasn't one, I'm not worried, but if there was one, I didn't get it.
I think there is. I will send it to you today.
And I know you've started some new 01 handout 1, 01 handout 2, and I got those. And I got the class notes for 4, 5, and 6, but I just happened to notice I don't have handout 3. What happened there?
Well, I didn't send everything to you all at once, so it may be that I haven't actually chosen to send it yet. I just have to go back and look what I've done and what it is. I will send you today a handout on the 4 conditions that I mentioned in this practice, because that's a new concept. And so I'll send you a handout on that so you can
Okay.
begin to be aware about that. This is part of dissolving and resolving energetic blockages, which is one of the primary things that you do while you're standing.
Yes. I noticed back when we were doing one of the early exercises, I said to you, I think after the very first class, I said to you, how do you get things from the head through the neck? Because I had an old neck injury from a car accident in 1985 and I couldn't get anything through my neck. And you gave me some, don't worry about it yet, it'll come and kind of stuff. And then I got this injury and I thought, that old thing was nothing.
Oh. Oh.
That's
Now I've got this, and pain is a real blocker for moving energy through.
yes, it is.
I'm afraid. So I started trying to concentrate. I don't know if this was right, but I started trying to concentrate on moving from the chest down through the torso when you were doing those
Mhm.
kind of things, and kind of skipping the neck.
So the dissolving practice, which we'll be getting into more shortly, is something that you can use to deal with pain, with physical pain, as well as energetic blockages.
Okay.
And if you get good with it, it can be very effective.
Okay.
For instance, one of my students who for years suffered from migraines discovered that using dissolving was an effective way for her to deal with migraines.
Wow.
Do you remember Tyler, my son?
Yes.
Tyler. He's learned how to work with pain so that he can go to the dentist and not have Novocaine.
That's pretty good.
He just does it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's very good.
Yeah, maybe in the next lifetime.
Fortunately, I haven't needed Novocaine for quite a while, so.
Me either. I'm not looking forward to any future necessities.
other questions or thoughts here? Before we. So,
Yeah, I don't. I don't know if Susan has questions, but I've asked all mine.
okay. So Susan, have you worked at all with the shifting your weight and rotating?
Yeah. That seems to be, that works. I mean, it just happens. Yeah, I think I'm doing it right.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so much that is still in my body from the old days when I was, and I find myself, I'll be standing somewhere and I'll just start doing it.
Yeah.
So it's good to be reminded, and yeah, it's just a difficult time, and I'm not getting practice time.
Yeah. Well, you do what you can do.
Yeah, it's better to be here than not be here.
Right.
Give myself a break.
Absolutely. You need that.
I was very much looking forward to this morning's class, so thank you very much.
Oh, you're
Good.
welcome.
Oh, Rosemary, I hope you feel better.
Thank
So
you.
I do encourage you to do this, some standing if you can, because it's a really important step.
Yes. Yes. I think
So,
I'll keep these lessons up there. I think I'll watch lesson 4 again. And then before I go on to 5 and 6. And this one, number 7.
well,
Where are we in the whole class sequence? If we're at 7.
so we're at 7. This is the first class of a new series.
We are in the first. So do we owe you?
Yes.
And just remind me how much?
Oh, 240.
240. Okay.
It's okay.
240.
It's all right, Rosemary.
Okay.
Good. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll send you a whole.
I'm doing the thing with my hands while I'm holding the tablet, so.
Okay. Well, I will send you a whole lot of things to read and look at.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Yeah.
Good luck this week. I'll see you next week.
Have
See you in 2
Are we
weeks. Excuse me.
meeting 2 weeks?
Yes, thank
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Right.
Okay.
2 weeks. Okay.
Yep.
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.